All right, Rick Santorum's waiting to weigh in, but I want to take you back to something Sarah Palin said yesterday. Let's all watch.
He, being the only one who's been willing, he's got the guts to wear the issues that need to be spoken about and debated on his sleeve, where the rest of some of these establishment candidates, they just wanted to duck and hide. They didn't want to talk about these issues till he brought them up. In fact, they've been wearing this political correctness kind of like a suicide vest. And enough is enough.
I know she's not talking about Rick Santorum, that's for sure. Joining us now, as said, is the senator, former U.S. senator from Pennsylvania and current presidential candidate. Check out ricksantorum.com. Senator, welcome back, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Malzberg. I appreciate that, and I appreciate the new picture.
Yes, new picture. You look really good. You do look distinguished. Anyway, all right, so let me ask you, do you know Sarah Palin? Did you talk to her about endorsing you? Are you surprised she picked Trump, and does it matter?
Well, I do know her. I mean, we're not we don't talk a whole lot. I mean, she's has her own sort of deal that she works on, and even when we were at Fox, we really didn't interact very much. But I respect her, and certainly, her endorsement is quite a plum for Donald Trump. But I don't think it's endorsements overall are all that important, particularly in a presidential race. And I know Sarah has stepped in and endorsed candidates like Nikki Haley, for example, in South Carolina, and had tremendous impact. But that's usually with candidates that that most people. Races where most people don't really know the candidate, and so Sarah Palin's word that this person is the right person, can mean something. But in this case, I mean, Donald Trump is equally as well known as Sarah Palin, and maybe today more so.
Right.
So I don't think someone stepping in and for someone that well known and people's opinions have been pretty formed, I don't think that's going to make much of a difference.
All right. Does the verbal battle, the back and forth between Donald Trump and Ted Cruz? And today, for instance, I heard Cruz run a commercial on Rush Limbaugh's show, in his own words, Trump praising Bill de Blasio, that he'd make a great mayor, etc. Does that help you?
Well, I don't think it helps anybody. I mean, I think this back and forth nastiness is unfortunately exactly what the media wants to see. I mean, this is what they want to report on. This is what they want to talk about. This has been one of the most frustrating things in this campaign, Steve, has been the lack of real substantive discussion. I mean, I get this all the time, and I think you've even commented on it, that the earlier debates were interesting because they were substantive, and there was a lot to sort of grab onto there, and that the later debates tended to be more of a food fight, and that's all the media likes to talk about is the food fight. So I think more food fight actually doesn't help anybody because we're not giving people what they need to be able to decide, well, who on the issues really is the right person to lead this country.
I know that you expect to do well in Iowa, and you go based on your last time around, and you have legitimate hopes. I know that. Could you tell me why you believe that Donald Trump has such a high level of evangelical support?
Well, here's what I say. I don't know who has what support until someone votes. Because I can tell you that 4 years ago, people said I had no support. Almost 4 years ago to the day, I think it was at 4 or 5 points in the state of Iowa. And within 12 or 13 days, everything changed. And then you looked at all these polls that had me at 1 or 2% for months and months and months. But when votes were counted, I won the state of Iowa. So it's really not. I don't really know who supports that any of these candidates have until we find out who's actually going to vote and support them. And so that's one of the things that's been a concern of mine in this race is that we've focused so much on polls and on particularly national polls to really limit our sights on just a handful of candidates instead of letting all the candidates with their ideas have a chance to get those out. And that's why I appreciate so much the opportunity, Steve, to come on your show where we get a chance to talk about those issues.
Absolutely. Well, let me give you an issue here. 81% of Americans, 66 of those who consider themselves pro-choice in a Marist poll, believe that there need to be restrictions on abortion. those numbers, 81% of Americans, 66 pro-choice, say abortion should not take place after 3 months. Now, I know that's not good enough for people like you and me. Also, 51% of pro-choice, quote unquote, say no taxpayer-funded abortion. So why did the Republican Party run away from this issue when clearly the American public is more in sync with them than the Democrats?
Because it's who gives Republicans money. It's the people who are financing Republican campaigns who unfortunately are on the other side. Well, maybe on the same side as the majority. They may even support us, but they have a whole circle of friends that don't, who are those ultra-liberal Democrats who they happen to socialize with, and they happen to live next door to, and they have because they're the folks who are supporting the Republican Party with the biggest dollars, unfortunately, live in the major cities in America, in the wealthy neighborhoods in the major cities in America, and it's that social circle that is probably the most extreme on the issue of abortion.
Right. They want to get invited to the parties.
That's where the money comes from.
They want to get invited to the parties as well.
That's exactly right.
I got another one for you. It was announced today, and I want to get this right, that the Obama administration is easing new visa requirements for certain European travelers who have visited Iran, Iraq, Syria, Sudan in the last 5 years. What the heck, Senator?
I can't. You know what? I don't know. I mean, I'm speechless. This is crazy. I don't. It's just how can a president of the United States who is charged with protecting this country loosen visa requirements from an area of the world where we know there are people who want to attack us and we have no reliable way in which to do background checks? It's Looney Tune time.
It is Looney Tune time. Homeland Security and State Departments make the announcement, and you got citizens of 38 countries, mostly in Europe. They're generally allowed to travel to the U.S. without applying for a visa, but they still have to submit biographical information, and now that's going to be eased. It is insane. Senator, ricksantorum.com. I know you're on your way to PA, and then you're headed back out on the trail. Good luck to you, sir. We'll keep talking to you.
Thank you very much, Steve. Take care. Bye-bye.
You too. Rick Santorum, ladies and gentlemen.